The topic I'm going to be speaking on today is that I disagree that prostitution should be legalized in the United States. Three reasons I'm going to give for this is that it's dangerous, HIV and AIDS, as well as it's degrading. Now, the definition for prostitution is technically the selling of one's body for money and for sexual favors. Now, I understand, like, you think about it, and a lot of people that counter it and say that we should have prostitution, they can easily take out prostitution and say, you know, legally you're allowed to sell your car and for money, and it's okay. Or you could sell your clothes for money, and that's okay. And I understand that. But then if we're going to define prostitution, we got to define body as well. So I feel like if you're selling your body, how many people do you know that have gone out, been able to sell their bodies and get a new one? So when we're taking it from that perspective, I don't think that that's a lot of the reasons why I disagree with it. First one, the fact that it's dangerous. Melissa Farley, a PhD and the founding director of the Prostitution Research and Education, she shows us that regardless of prostitution's legal status and where the prostitution is taking place, it's still very dangerous for women, whether that be a health aspect, but also from a literally like homicidal standpoint. It can still happen. Like, we can be naive and say, oh, there will be somebody in the room. It can still happen. So with that, this just shows that prostitution can be very dangerous. My next point is HIV. Now, Jeffrey J. Barrows, he's a health consultant, on human trafficking. He states that even if the prostitute is being tested every week for HIV, it'll take 4 to 6 weeks until they don't test negative. So let's say they've been tested every week. They could literally be living with prostitution for 4 to 6 weeks before it even comes up. Now, 4 to 6 weeks is the minimum, but it can go all the way up to 12 weeks. So with that said, they can still have HIV, they can still be carrying it, they can still be giving it out, and they won't be able to know from anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. This is clearly, I don't need to explain that much more, this is clearly very dangerous. And the fact that it's degrading. A lot of times we see, whether it be in the media or even in our own debate speeches that we got here, that women feel like they're being discriminated, like they don't have a fair shot. And the fact that some women, and I realize it's some women, I'm not generalizing all, but some women are literally willing to try to, and they use it as a big excuse, whether it be poverty or whatnot, they're literally willing to go out and sell their bodies for this. Now, this is a real big stereotype that people are going to take from that. I mean, regardless if it's good or not, there's stereotypes for both genders, male and female. But in this aspect, for the point of this speech, this is obviously going to be very stereotyped from the community and from the public when you see women doing this, going and doing this voluntarily. I feel like it's very degrading for a lot of the women that work really hard, that don't do this kind of stuff, that have came up from nothing, that have earned their way, that have, reached good jobs, that are good for their families, that are good for themselves. And I feel like what it is it's really degrading for these women that have earned what they've gotten, they've done it the right way, and it's not fair to them, and it's degrading to women as a whole when other women decide that, you know what, yeah, I'm going to sell my body. So that is why I disagree with prostitution being legalized in the United States.